All right, guys, we're going to get started. I know we're still waiting for a few people, but I know everyone's keen to make sure they get into the proper race session in 10 minutes' time. So, um, obviously, I'm sure everyone at this point is raced five, so I'm sure you're all used to the normal stuff about the normal expected qualifying conduct and race conduct. So, I'm not going to keep going over that because nothing major has changed. I'll go over what has changed for this week shortly. If you do want to double check any of that stuff, I have posted a copy of this race briefing in the W12 series channel. So the points for qualifying are you're expected to go sort of full near full speed at turns 3, 4, and 9 because they're sort of a quick corners which can be a little bit blindsided if there's cars going slowly in front of you. So we want to really avoid incidents there. That's the kind of corners where we have seen things happening. So we want to avoid that. Slow moving cars, we don't want you overtaking each other if you're on an out lap or an in lap after the back straight. So that's between I think turns 9 and 10. So don't want you overtaking after there because it's a twisty section where cars are going to be coming at full speed. So stay off the racing line through there when possible and try and not go too slow because I think that's where we'll get other problems. And you're sort of expected to picked up your speed by the time you reach the chicane. So we want you going full blast by then because otherwise people arriving at high speed into the chicane, it's a heavy braking zone, so we're going to have issues if not. Normal stuff, 2 compounds you have to run in the race and you have to start on your qualifying tyres. Safety car, once again, is going to be the manually driven Mercedes. You'll be told about all of that in voice chat and when DRS is re-enabled in voice chat. What else have we got? Yeah, so the other stuff, we had an incident last week, which I'm sure you're all aware of, with lapped cars and the leader. And we do have a rule that says the lapped cars, if you got blue flags, you do need to get out of the way. Realise that wasn't really restated in any of the briefings, but it is in the rules set. So those guys did get penalised, which I'm sure some of you have seen in Steward Decisions channel. But basically, just want to make it really clear. If you have blue flags, you need to get out of the way by the next straight or by the end of the next straight. But really, as soon as possible for getting out of the way. That's the absolute limit, as long as you're not holding someone up massively. And if it's any later than that, like even one corner later than that, then we'll look at giving you a penalty. If you're a lead car and we think that, and you think that you're being held up, but you're not getting out of the way, but it's the gap is maybe suggesting they don't absolutely need to get out of the way, then you can use your radio channel to let race control know about that, and we'll look at telling them to get out of the way if we need to. But sort of we're saying that the general gap is you need to be within 1.5 seconds for the blue flag to really. I know your blue flags come up on iRacing and that, but if somebody's not falling back into you at a massive rate and they're keeping a 1.5 second gap, but you think they're slowing you down, then you can get on the radio to us. But we're not always going to take action because people lose a lot of time letting guys through. So if you're not being held up and they're just actually as quick as you at the back, then they're not necessarily going to get moved out the way. But that being said, if you are holding someone up and you've got blue flags, the penalties will be quite heavy depending on the severity. So obviously last week we had a battle between two lapped cars which ended up causing what ended up being the main collision. So that would be penalised more heavily. We've said that blue flagged cars, if you're battling and a leader is coming through, you need to pause that and not just forget that you're blue flagged. You do need to get out of the way for the blue flagged. And then one more thing which did occur in last week's race was when the safety car came in, the leaders didn't sort of bunch cars up soon enough. So by the time the leader actually set off, they overtook the safety car before it even crossed the pit lane entry. So what I want to say is if you're leading, you can't overtake the safety car before it's coming to the pit lane. So obviously you can't always see the safety car coming into the pit lane. But what I would suggest is when the safety car is called in, which around here is going to be on the back straight, we'll let you know, then you need to start backing everybody up and let the safety car get away. And then you've got enough position to get ahead. So that's all I wanted to say. If anyone's got any questions, you can pop them in chat now, and I'll try and get them answered. But other than that, just go and enjoy your race, guys. Hope it's a good one. And so for pitting under safety cars, no changes this race. I know it was something that we sort of discussed with it, maybe impacting how the race happened last week. But what we've sort of said is safety car is maybe not. There's been incidents in the past where safety car has been called out on lap one when it probably didn't need to be because there was a crash at the back, which isn't going to impact anyone else. So the aim is to minimise safety car being called out. So it's unless there's a pile-up which involves almost off the field, it's probably not going to get called out earlier on. But I think what the discussion was with the race control guys is that it was being called out too easily early on and not later on in the race when it was maybe a bigger incident that should have been called out. But we are looking about pitting under safety car for the future races because I know it's sort of impacted races where people have been able to go the whole race on the mediums, which obviously isn't something we want to happen. Pit lane isn't going to be closed during safety car now, but not this week. We are going to work on something now. All right, yeah, we are. The aim is not to just throw out a safety car for the sake of it because we don't want that to happen. Obviously, it kind of defeats the whole point of having a race if people can just do whatever they want on lap one and go up to it. So yeah, like Kevin said, just be safe. I know there's a you know don't because that turn three, if anyone has an incident there, it's going to collect a lot of guys. So let's just keep it as safe as possible. Um, yeah, I know Blackie wants to drive in the safety car as well. um, yeah, all right. Have a good one, guys. Any issues, let us know either through a ticket or through the race or through your voice channel. We can normally tune into that if you're in all teams. So have a good one and keep it clean.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigos? And welcome along to Anti-Stall Racing, iRacing W12, this series, round 5 here in Barcelona. We're reaching a milestone here, aren't we, with this exciting series so far? Obviously, 5 rounds already gone. And then the track, obviously, here at the circuit there. Barcelona and Catalunya is a classic one. And certainly these Formula cars can get their way around here as quickly as possible. Hopefully, it's a 2.8 mile, and that's 4.6 kilometers, with essentially about 16 or so turns. Majority of those are kind of split between your lefts and rights. It's always good to be back here on Spanish soil. And of course, well, I'm the Biggles, bringing you some more thunder from down under. But alongside me today in the virtual booth will be Mr. Edward. And of course, our wonderful producer in the background will be the Gerald, Mr. Geza. G'day,
hello,
gentlemen.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, Biggles, beautiful to be here at Barcelona. We've already seen, as you've mentioned, 4 races of the season. Very interesting races, always battling. And I'm really looking forward to this one because, as we've seen in this league, you can always make a comparison between real life and these virtual races, between the real Formula 1 races. And, this track has produced a very interesting race in Formula 1 this year, so who knows, maybe we'll have one race like this today.
Well, they're only going their practice at the moment, and just like the real F1, soon, in a couple of months, they'll be doing their practice sessions, but with the 2022 cars, of course. At the moment, these cars are still configured to the 2021 configuration, so it gives these drivers a little bit more time to get used to it before potentially the upgrades into the future. At the moment, we're watching the German driver in the Mercedes making his way around. I'm not quite sure what part of the track. I don't have a track map, but I'm trying to figure it out off the top of my head. Unless we can go on board and see from that driver's perspective what the hot lap is so we can get an idea. There's a track map up there, perfectly on cue there for our wonderful producer as he's making his way into the first couple of corners, actually. No, my track map is around the other way around. He's making down the main straight right now. And the German driver's going to set a time. We'll start a flying lap right now. Here we are on board. He's going to make his way down into the turn 1, which is the Elf. Kink here to the right. It'll swing all the way back up to the 2 here. This is where you want to get it right. Spotted in and out early with the power, swinging your way back around the Renault. The turn 3, it's a very long sweeping corner. And then go out wide here for the Repsco, turn 4. And this is another big sweeping long corner. This is why this is a wonderful test track for these cars, because it's got so many different elements. Deep down here to the left, turn 5 on the power. A little bit of a kink up here, which is the corner of turn 8. Since climbing up the hill here, another great place to get plenty of opportunity and some exit speeds here, sweeping you around turn 9 of campus. And then there's a little bit of a short straight up here. And then La Caxa, I think it is, at turn 11. A little bit of traffic up there, completely gets out of his way. And this is a technical part, as you can see. You can go a little bit wide there. It's going to abandon that lap. Allow the other cars straight through and have to get it all done all over again. Return back to the pits. We almost got a whole lap done. We got plenty of time, but 7 minutes out of 20 in qualifying.
Yeah, because you've mentioned about the 2022 cars that are going to run on this track in 2 months' time, if I'm not wrong. And I'm really looking forward to those cars because everyone is saying that it's going to make such a huge difference in racing and the quality in the real Formula 1. But personally, seeing how the history has panned out in the last years, I'm not really so sure that we'll have amazing battles.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? So we would say it could be a bit of a domination as well. You tend to have that a domination period when they do massive changes. Obviously, it's only more of an aero change than anything until the engines will be upgraded in the next couple of years. But the major components that they can change will be the front wing. That'll be the key to look at, I think. Whereas most of the rear wing and all the other bits and pieces, they're not going to be able to change too much. But the front wing's kind of open field. And that's where obviously your big guns of Mercedes and Red Bull tend to get that little bit of a benefit more so than, the smaller junior teams like Haas and stuff like that. Well, and obviously testing is not something to really go by as well too, because you see a lot of sandbagging over the years, don't you, from some of the Top Gun teams during testing.
Yes and no. This year we all thought that Mercedes will be sandbagging, but the problems that they've had in testing look like they're gone for the entire year. So yeah, Red Bull were the fastest car in the Barcelona test, and they have gone on to actually win the Drivers' Championship, obviously not the Constructors' Championship 2. Anyways, we're already seeing some times being set. Johan Roussel is in first place with a 1:15.4, and 1 second behind him is Hannes Schlogel. Luka Wunsch, the driver who has won 3 races this season, have not set a time. I don't know if he is in the server. So he is not in the server right now, so he might not get the start here in race 5. He won the first 3 races. He has led most of the 4th race, and then he's had an incident with a backmarker which absolutely destroyed a pretty much perfect race for the German driver. He was going on for his 4th consecutive win, and that dream has just been crushed in the last corner. Anyways, today we might see again a different winner.
I'm just having a look at Mr. Hans Skrugel. I think he's got traffic up there. It was compromised. He's on a flying lap right now. He wants to obviously look at beating that time. He's been promoted down there into 3rd place, going a little bit wide there. He can take advantage of that. It won't punish you like the F1 game does. You can actually use the track limit. It's kind of like the real F1 here. And of course, if you go too wide, well, you don't gain an advantage. But he's flat out. That's exactly what the team he's in. Flat out racing, and he wants to go flat out as possible. But why did he? He may got compromised a little bit by that Mercedes in traffic as he goes to the technical 3rd sector. Right now, as you can see on the track map, this is a really great way. It's the 1st and 3rd sectors that make all the difference around this track, whereas it's all the high speed in the middle. Let's see what sort of time he's going to get in as he making around the final corner right now, sweeping around. This is really the corner here. Let's see how much an improvement it will be for the flat out racing team. And I don't think it's going to be too much more, actually. No, I think that might have compromised him. Yeah, so he got one. He's just dropped actually 1/10 from his time. So Leon now will get that P2 position. A couple of the drivers are out on track right now. Kevin's on an out lap. A couple of other drivers are on flyers. Who you guys think we should be looking out for specifically here?
Yep, anyways, you've mentioned about traffic and how that affected Hannes' lap, and I'm just thinking about the race and the fact that it's not very easy to overtake on this track because you don't really have many overtaking opportunities. You can overtake obviously in turn 1, that's pretty much the overtaking hotspot, and then you can also go in turn 10 in La Caixa, but otherwise there are no many places to overtake.
Yeah, like Haxa, I think, turn 11, where this car is currently at the moment. That's about it, too, as you said, through turn 1 and turn 2, the S's, the Elf. Elf's turn 1, of course, that's one of the major ones. So let the drivers back out there on their out laps. It's just, once again, it's a practice session, so just get a feel for it. But it'll give you an indication of how the car, you hit that sausage curb as well, too, like that Merc just did. That throws the car up there. That will cost you a bit of time. Absolutely, because you need basically one key element, don't you? You need all 4 of those wheels to contact the track to keep it on the track in order to get the power down. Now, if you have only 2 of them, you're going to lose a bit of time, especially in the iRacing, which is a serious racing sim, of course. So you're going to feel every little tiny bit of the car and to drive these cars around best of best. Also, the setup, of course, too, isn't it? It's a lot of different tweaking you can do.
Yeah, but anyways, iRacing is an incredible simulator, and I have never actually raced on iRacing on this track, but I have raced here with the Formula 1 cars on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. And it's an interesting track, but it's very easy to do a mistake, you know. You go up the hill in turns 7 and 8, and it's very easy to lose the backhand on those corners. I don't know if it's the same thing with the Formula 1 cars on iRacing, but certainly that's something to look out for. And also turns 14 and 15, which are very slow, very technical. We might see some laps being dropped there.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much, Alex, out there. I just realized that my chat was minimized on that, but it does look beautiful on that 1080p. And that's, of course, a stream on YouTube now because YouTube's going to... It just looks so much better then, doesn't it, than the Twitch, of course. We do like Twitch, but hey, you got to choose between one or the other at this point. YouTube's looking pretty strong. Thank you very much for tuning in there. Don't be shy out there in the chat world. We got you covered. Anything you want to ask, we will try to answer it. Don't ask me how quick I am around this track. I can't answer that one. We're watching Lee Barmer. UK and obviously, I think he's Northern Irish, perhaps. Certainly got an Irish and UK flag there. Okay. I like that. So does that mean it's like a United Kingdom and Australian flag there at the same time as well from Australia?
Unfortunately not, no. So yeah, iRacing doesn't differentiate certain regions. So I know there's some northern European countries all under one banner as well. Not sure what the Australian banner is like. The Australian drivers, but then again, it's probably because they're online at the opposite end of the day to me.
Yeah, I remember at one point there was this one driver called Jesper Smelt. I don't know if he's actually racing right now, but anyways, in the second race, he was at the same time from Belgium, Holland, and also Luxembourg. So he was from 3 countries at the same time.
Wow. So Alexis is asking out there, when will Kevin crash his car? Before or after turn 1 or lap 1? Interesting.
Well, how about we go on board and take a look?
Here he is, right now. Well, Kevin in the anti-store is Dutch, I believe. Who's driving underneath the Dutch nationality. But he's in practice at the moment, so he's probably not going to crash his car, but he is going to allow the Mercedes through. I'm sorry if it's a Mercedes on. It just looks like a Mercedes on. I think it's called the anti-store car. Anti-store racing car, a McLaren, but it's not.
Well, all of them are Mercedes vehicles.
Yeah, they all Mercedes, of course, underneath the bonnet. I'm saying for the liveries, of course.
Anyways, the top 3 as of now, in practice, we have Alex Eguia, the winner from the last race, still in first place, also in this practice session. Eloy Caballero in second place, and Leon van Elvoet in third place. Some familiar names, some new names here. I haven't seen a race with Eloy Caballero, and he looks very fast, so that's obviously great to see here. We've had 3 dominant races from Luca Wunsch, also the 4th one, and having some battles today would be absolutely amazing.
And the Spaniard currently at the moment is driving under the Spanish flag, so this is his home territory. He probably played in that gravel trap when he was a kid, so he should know this track quite well. That's Alex Iguawa. I'm going to really butcher up these names. Iguia. Yeah, you guys you're so much better in Europe again.
Oh, I would have said Aguirre, but fair enough.
Yeah. No, I think Edward's really good at pronouncing these names. I think he might have it switched on a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is as well.
Yeah, no, I'm from Romania, and here we have some crazy names as well.
Bună dimineața. Bună dimineața, my friend. Bună dimineața.
Bună dimineața.
Yeah.
That's a good pronunciation.
I lived in Romania. I lived in Bucharest there for about 6 months, so I'm pretty familiar. I probably learnt more Romanian than I did in Spanish, even though it's very similar, obviously, too, isn't it?
And what's your opinion on Romania?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved living. Of course, I visited Dracula's castle and that sort of stuff. Went out into the mountains and stayed at a bear lodging house, actually. And didn't go hunting for any bears, but with the gentleman that owned the house because it wasn't really bear hunting season. But he would have taken me.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a beautiful country.
It is a beautiful country. We have some problems, but obviously it's
like every country.
Yeah.
I like the Chuk beer. I do miss the Chuk beer. It's called Chuk.
What?
The beer you have there, one of them's called Chuk.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I did miss that. That's the one I used to
agree.
drink. Yeah, you bring back some memories at the moment, but perhaps we should go back down and focus on that one. But yeah, your accent pronouncing, I think, just has that beautiful, that tongue just rolls off it, doesn't it? All the R's and all the different accents and stuff. As we're watching Ben and this Bass, the old Bazza, with that multinational flag that you mentioned there before, looks like French, Belgium, and Dutch.
I believe it's Benelux.
Benelux. Car 38. As once again, it's just a practice session, about 3 minutes to go. You'll see the cars just pull off and just disappear. That's obviously returning themselves back to the pits. We don't need all the fanciness of the Formula One game. Saves the drivers a bit of time too, so they can get back there as quickly as possible and not have to go all the way back around again because, hey, it's a virtual world. You could do it in a virtual world. So what the homegrown hero by just 1/10 of a second there. And then a little bit further back. So it's pretty close, as you could see there at the top there. 114s seem to be the benchmark for qualifying, but I would not be surprised. Yep. Our producer's going to be back in a second. I would not be surprised if they don't break into the 13s. What do you think, Edward?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I was looking for some information and I haven't really been 100% concentrated on what you were saying, but yeah, I must probably agree, Biggles.
114.3. So yeah, that's the benchmark.
Anyways, only 13 cars that has set a time so far, so that's a pretty poor attendance of of this race, because I remember in Silverstone we had to do 2 splits because we've had 40 drivers interested in getting part on this league. Now we are only having 13. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because it's obviously Monday and maybe some of these guys are at work, but who knows?
That's why the time's been moved as well. I believe it's very difficult, obviously, to try to suit everybody, and as more drivers you have, the more difficult situation it comes. Obviously, as you said, people coming home from work, school, and all that sort of jazz, and they also want to eat. So some people probably trying to rush some meals in and stuff like that before they get sweaty racing around the track. But obviously, it's very hard to suit everybody. And I perhaps see it because it's a practice session, you might see more of the drivers maybe just sitting there watching the practice session as they scoff their food down, getting ready for the qualifying and obviously for the race. So that's probably the case. So perhaps Gerald might know a little bit more about that with the movement of time. I know he's just come back as to, a little bit less of the grid currently at the moment during the practice.
Yeah, but anyways, the practice is now done with Alex Eguia finishing first and Elias Sauer in second place. Both Alex Eguia and Elias Sauer has took part in every single race of this competition. So obviously familiar names, always beautiful to see.
If you want to win, you got to be in it, don't you? Got to be in it to win it. And consistency is always the key to winning a championship.
Yeah, but it's hard. I don't know what happened with Luca Wunsch. I hope he's not angry about what happened last week and he will come back in this league, because, it was very fun watching him race. We've seen the recovery from him in the third race of the season. I think that was in Suzuka, when he pitted right after the first lap and then he came back to win the race. So yeah, but without him, we might see some interesting championship battle.
It happens to the best of drivers, doesn't it? I mean, it's very. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it doesn't take away his pace and his speed. And accidents do happen. It always does in motor racing, of course. And I'm sure that you get a little. He'd probably upset at the time, but no doubt he wants to get back behind that wheel and prove that he is the unstoppable force against the unmovable objects out there. And that's the best way, isn't it, to rebound back, slap another win under your belt. Perhaps he's just trying to get in here today. I don't know. Let us know out there if you do know anything, or if he's perhaps stuck in traffic or something like that. I don't know. Just checking with the chat.
I don't. Maybe he just needs a week off, because I'm actually reading the chat, and no, there's nothing going on there. But I'm seeing some people that are staying alone.
Maybe he's sitting out. Maybe he's sitting outside the gate and forgot his pass, and nobody's letting him in the track. So somebody should get in there and check. He's like, guys, I'm here. He's like, obviously, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc's girlfriend, stuck outside the apartment, and she had to get on there and subscribe to Twitch or something to let him know that she was stuck outside. Who knows? Maybe the driver's in a similar situation. Jump into the chat, YouTube chat, and tell us. We'll let you in. As we saw this driver currently at the moment.
Hello.
Leon. Yep, there it is. In the Mercedes. It was a little bit done. That sausage curbs a little bit. There is, he's kept it, luckily, but now he's got to get around there and do it all again. How is it for the tyres? Did you do a couple of laps on these tyres, or was it just like the F1 game where you got to come back in there, put some new boots on?
Well, you could actually do the entire race on medium. Obviously, that's not allowed. So there will be a mandatory tyre change. Tyres don't fade as quickly as...
That sounds like it is more similar to the real F1 world, of course. In the F1 game, they were a lot more punishing than what they do in the real F1, as you see. The real F1, the tyres can go a lot more durable, just like iRacing, of course. But they all seem to be on the softs currently at the moment for the qualifying. Does that mean they're going to start at those softs and switch over to the mediums, or some of the drivers will take that gamble and said they put a quick lap? I would guess it's still the same rules, right? The top 10 qualifying the tyres had to start on the tyres that they qualify on?
I believe it's everybody. Everybody has to start on the tyres.
Oh, everybody.
And we have a couple of mediums on the grid at the minute. We've got Johan Roussel on medium. We also have Mark Steve and
Eloy set the first time there, 1:14.4. So they're still about 1/10 off the free practice times. But remember, this is the first bankers coming in, 3 minutes and change of qualifying done. And that's Cabanillo, and that looks like a Dilte on the end. So he could very much be Spanish. I'm not quite sure where he's from as well. Certainly that's a Dilte, I think it's called. And Espanol, I should know. Jeez, I lived here for almost 6 years. But, well, in a Spanish-speaking country. Now, Ed would know because, once again, well, when I was in Romania, my friend, when on security guards and stuff like that, we're all watching Spanish soap operas. It's very, very popular in Romania.
I don't think I have ever watched it. To be
No,
fair.
everybody does, right? It's always on the television, I think, in the afternoons. But that's why, apparently, the two closest languages are Romanian and Spanish.
Well, on the television we have a lot of Turkish series, and
Turkish, yeah.
those are much more popular than the Spanish ones. You know, we have the Spanish ones too, but they are not as popular as the Turkish ones.
Maybe the Turkish ones were taken over since I was there. Okay, that makes sense. Then again, I wasn't watching television much. Of course. Got a bit chilly, it's too, but I think there. But yeah, once again, I loved it. Beautiful. I got to go back. Yeah.
I'm watching Eloy's livery, and it gives me Bugatti vibes. I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like the liveries that Bugatti are actually putting on their street cars.
Oh, good catch. Well, here's the Ferrari-looking car. It's just basically completely red, and it is on those mediums. And who are we looking at the moment? Is that Lee? I'm not quite sure which car we're on.
Johan. Oh.
Johan. Okay, so just curious, just to give me a reference. How do I know which car we're on with the overlook?
Once the cars get time in, as you can see right now, either his name is highlighted in.
Okay. Perfect.
Before they haven't got a time in, unfortunately. From that timing sheet, track for the race, we're able to see.
Yeah, not a problem out there. Sorry, go ahead.
Alexei Guagon in first place. He's gone purple, 1:14.396. So he's in the same 10th as he was in the free practice session. That's a very good lap.
It is a fantastic lap, but look at that.
Ooh,
It just got stolen away.
Even faster, 1:14.0. So that's the best time of the entire day. 3/10 faster than his Spanish opponent.
So they are both Spanish. So it's homegrown soul for these gladiators. And that was I expect now, because remember, we are only 6 minutes and so into this 20-minute qualifying session. Those tires are going to tumble. And I'm just curious if you out there you said Ed, you're not familiar, but maybe Gerald is, about, does the track really start to grip it into with the tire?
Yeah, it absolutely does. Track wear track development, my racing is very, very track starting and get, especially after carries over.
So why don't the drivers, obviously the thing in the F1 game, if you guys are familiar out there before, a lot of drivers used to get out there and do some inters and throw down. So obviously, because the inters are going to put a lot of rubber down on the track, I guess it's probably inters aren't available in this dry session currently at the moment for the drivers to do that. Throw down some rubber. But it also benefits everybody if you do that, doesn't it? A little bit of a lockup there. It's a little bit more of a lockup, but he's pointing the right direction out of the wall. He probably will retire back to the pit spot after flat spotting those tires. My next question as well, too. How does the flat spots feel in this racing sim?
Flat spots aren't yet modelled on these, unfortunately. But like other simulators, we are using a physical tyre model, so the physics of it are related to a model touching another model, essentially. Flex of the tyre, the pressure inside the tyre are all modelled accurately in iRacing. Unlike in other games, that it's code meant to be, such as Assetto Corsa. Coded tyre models. So yeah, iRacing's very good for that sort of thing. So a lot of people.
Anyways, we're coming back to our qualifying station. We're now watching Steve Grabowski with a very interesting pink liveries. It reminds me of the BWT livery that Racing Point was using since 2017 to 2020, I think.
Racing on point. As we've gone from Steve, and I think we've gone to Bass at the moment. Yes, we have it. Bass's rear end looks a little too early, doesn't it? It looks like he's going to just pull over and retire back to the pits on that one. I think he wasn't too happy, or he's just going to sit there for a little bit. Well, Steve is still going to go across the line. And where does Steve go across the line? 2.2 seconds down the road, so he's got a little bit more on that Racing Point car. Pink livery to get it done there. Maybe he needs to get that resprayed into the new Aston Martin green, perhaps.
Oh, and
another
another
spin.
So
yeah, this is the time, isn't it? That's Joe. This is it. You can tell right now that I think the pressure's starting to mount a little bit because we've got about 10 minutes left of qualifying. And now these drivers are just, a little bit more loud on the loud pedal and pushing these cars, try to improve these times. And you can see the difference too as well. Like in the top 4, they are ridiculously close.
yeah, not only that, but as I've mentioned at the start of the stream, it's very easy to do a mistake on this track. And as I was talking about it, we're seeing another one. And also, we've seen a lot of cars spinning there in turns 11 and 12, so we should be keeping an eye on that in the race because that looked like the most dangerous corners here.
I'm going to go grab Fernando Alonso's fold-out chair and sit right there with my microphone and commentate because that looks like the action spot right there. That's the ticket. So forget your grandstand. Trade those in. You want
talking about that?
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have we just
there. That is the steep mind. Go ahead.
Have we just cursed a corner, guys? Have we done that?
We have. Oh, it's because I accidentally spilt my drink there, but don't tell them my pina colada's right there. But we'll get that mopped up later on. No, that's the hot spot. That's great. That's the difference, isn't it, between the Formula One game and a real Formula One game, iRacing. That the corners are completely different on the action zones per se than what they are. So that's, and obviously as we're relatively new to these Mercedes cars cruising around, he's just taking out those witches hats. You're gonna have to put them back up, my friend. That is the rule. You knock a witch's hat over, and you got to go pick some more up. Oh, he said it's. Yeah, there's something going on down that corner. Or perhaps they're all listening at the moment, having a bit of a giggle, saying, "Let's keep the let's keep the audience entertained."
There was the cone stuck in Kevin's car.
Oh, that's because I saw a couple of people knock those cones over, as I said. Like, what did the witches' hats? They call them witches' hats. What did they do to you? Don't take it out on the witches' hats. Obviously, they're there to show. If you do happen to knock over them, obviously, that have to be outside the track limits, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Anyways, you've mentioned about the mistakes that are happening in turns 11 and 12, and these being caused by the iRacing and the fact that it's a simulator. Well, I tend to disagree with you because I don't know if you've ever played the Formula 1 game, but I can tell you I was personally spinning there as well on that game. So it's not about the game.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying all. I'm saying some of the tracks are different. But yeah, in that case, no, I don't drive, so I've seen probably people spin off everywhere. But you're right. In this case, that is obviously a tricky corner as well. And just to let everybody know out there, because once again, I like to explain things as if you're watching the stream for the first time. And if you are, welcome. Because I'm also getting to know all the rules and facts and regulations, of course. So I'd like to share that information with you because sometimes, we're going to ask questions that we don't always have the answers for, but I do have experts in here to give me the answers. They're also live stewards as well, too, I believe, right, Gerald?
Yep, absolutely. Live steward. Watching everything with their beady eyes and ready to throw out some time penalty. Maybe even throw out a world championship as well.
Michael Maxey. Can the teams actually... Or if the teams have engineers, can they talk to the race director and ask questions and debate that?
Actually, they do have radios. They do have in-game radio, which they, if they really wanted to. But in the briefing, it is stated they are not allowed to contact race control unless absolutely necessary. Okay,
fantastic. I did catch some of that race briefing, but I was just trying to find the room. So I think that was already discussed and debated. Fantastic. Which goes to show you the sign of a really professional league here at Anti-Store Racing, where they do go through a driver's briefing just like the real drivers do. They sit there and have to listen to it. And at the end of the day, that's when Michael Massey can say, well, we went through it. We all agreed. So no arguing now, Mr. Christian Horner and Toto Wolff.
Yeah. Mentioning this, I remember at the 2021 Spanish Grand Prix, Toto Wolff was complaining about some lap cars. I don't know if it was Nikita Mazepin maybe, but anyways, that was the first time on this track that we've heard the team principals radio with the race control. So that was a very interesting touch that obviously played a big part in this season.
Yeah, I think I didn't like it. I thought it was a bit cheesy, but I don't know. Entertainment point of view, I think it was a talking point. So Liberty Media, obviously, that present the Formula One broadcasts, I think at the end of the day, they're going to be like, well, if people want to hear it, they're going to want to do it, even though sometimes it seems a little unprofessional. But once again, hey, the numbers were fantastic as well. Obviously, for Liberty Media Group, they probably pulled more numbers than they ever have in a long time in Formula One. So therefore, they're going to continue that entertainment all the way. A few things, no doubt, will be changed, maybe with a limitation of who can talk to who on the FIA team radio. But I believe it will be coming back for sure.
Yep, anyways, Beagles, coming back to our race, there are only 2 tenths between the first 3 drivers, so very close qualifying year.
As well, yeah. And it looks like the 2 Spaniards aren't going to take the top 2 row at the moment there. As we've got, I believe it is the German driver squeezing in into that second position. But once again, it's really, really close. And now it's crunch time. Because a lap time around here, obviously, as you can see, a fast lap is 1:14. You've got an out lap, but you don't have to worry about the in lap here because you can just pull the car off and retire and then come back into the pits. And you can come immediately back out. You don't have any waiting time in the pits, do you at all, guys, when you do retire on the track?
No, you do not.
Okay, so you can retire and you can jump straight back in the car. They slap the new tires on and you're out again.
If it's during a race, then yes, you'll have a towing time. So the amount of time it takes for your car to get towed from the track into the pit.
I mean, not the race, sorry. I mean, just mean during the qualifying session.
Yeah, during qualifying, you can jump back and forth whenever you want.
So you can go out absolutely last minute, can't you? Really, a day, whatever it takes you on your out lap, and then your flying lap.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry, some workers are outside picking up some stuff out in my window because they're building something, and they could probably relay the Spanish to these drivers.
Because where are you? Who is working at this time?
It's daytime for me. My friend's 2:00 in the afternoon, so they're building a little work shed kind of thing at the back.
Okay, I got it.
For me to put my tools in and build stuff, and so I'll let them do their thing. But thankfully, they're not noisy enough because it's on the other side of the property. But what's noisy is these cars revving their way around. Because if you look at that track map, we've got a lot of traffic out there at the moment trying to put their flying laps in. I can't see anybody's improving at the moment, are they? As the track is evolving, so you should be able to find a little bit more traction. But I think maybe that everybody's got the memo of that notorious turn 11.
Yeah, but this was something that we've seen through the entire season. Drivers setting the fastest times at the start of the session, and then I don't know if they are testing different things or they just can improve because, well, the sun is not shining anymore here at the Barcelona Catalunya track. It looks very cloudy, so the temperature might also play a role in this qualifying session.
You're actually right, it would. It doesn't so much in the F1 game, but obviously, once again, iRacing, as Kevin had mentioned there, they track model the tires a lot great. The tires, it's like a physical compound, isn't it? Like it flexes with your tire pressure. It gets punished on the edges of those tires, depending on, once again, what pressures you're rolling and how much grip and traction it can be. Now, that's when the temperatures do play a massive difference, like they do in the real world. Of course, PSI is massively important when it comes to actual Formula One car tires, and that's why they're preset generally in the FIA for the race, because you just tweak them on. If you ever guys had seen, that show, on the BBC with Jameson Clarkson, whatever his name is, when they used to have the F1 drivers drive around that test track, the one thing all the F1 drivers wanted to do was change the tire pressures, even though it was the same car, because that was the key. And in this case, the tire pressures would be very important, how much they can tweak. And what are just curious as well, too, is there a flexibility on how much tire pressure they can change, or is it open field?
Yeah, so we're running open setup, so these drivers can choose their own setups. Slightly tweak. almost everything about these. But yeah, tire
Is it
pressure will be a thing.
Parc Ferme from qualifying to the race. So this isn't qualifying. You can't change it now from qualifying to the race. You're set, or is there flexibility?
I'll have to ask that question elsewhere because I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty sure some people will be running a qualifying setup and then a race setup.
Okay. Because I know in F1, I mean, because you're talking about the weather, and I don't know what the weather forecast would be, but you may get rain coming in the race. I do know with the FIA, they do allow them to change obviously, a little bit of the tire pressures if there is rain. But that's, of course, all the teams are allowed that opportunity, I think, of course. Inters and wets are set on the same tire pressures. I think they might have a little bit of flexibility. I'm not so sure. Talk to an engineer in Formula 1 about that, but there's some flexibility, but this obviously allows more flexibility. More flexibility allows more opportunities, I'd have to say, wouldn't it, for some of these drivers to take advantage of that. That's Kevin. Sorry, we're watching Rascardi. I'll leave that one to Edward to pronounce his name.
Guys, good luck reading this name. Like,
You'll get it. Come on. You can get it.
No, I can't. I've seen after the third or fourth race, I'm not really sure, there was someone clipping the scene from me trying to read his name, and that was absolutely impossible. Like, you can check that on Twitch. It's incredible.
Again. Give it a shot again. Maybe, I mean, third time lucky, fourth time lucky. George Hill's asking no Parc Ferme. I believe they can change setup. There you go. Thank you very much for that there, George. And George, try to pronounce that driver's name. See how you go on that one, George. Well, you'll have to jump into the booth to do that one. But anyway, thank you very much for that. Yeah, no. Edward, you gotta do it, mate. Because if that guy wins the race, what are you going to say?
He finished third. He finished third in that race that I mentioned before. And I really wanted to take an interview from him to actually learn from him how is his name pronounced. But we haven't found him on Twitch. So, yeah, no interview from him.
Oh,
well, maybe today could be the first. Qualifying's over. Exactly. Only a couple more drivers going around there, and I think Etoy Caballero has done it. Has he got that? And that's not a 1:15 as well. We'll see what the real time it is. Obviously in the 14s, or even getting the 13s. Let's see. We'll definitely let Edward go through these names lists so he can read through the grid order.
Thank you, Beagles.
You got to earn your paycheck, mate.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, 30 seconds till grid. Guys lining up any second.
George is saying out there in the chat that most people be running fuel and maybe suspension and extra fuel. They can, in the pit stop, that is mandatory, I guess, I believe, add a little bit more fuel if required. They can't. No, of course, you don't know refueling Formula 1. Sorry, I'm used to the other cars in iRacing. So, yeah, just fuel. You can burn the fuel more. That's obviously something you can do in a Formula 1 car.
Interesting thing about iRacing, actually, in terms of burning fuel. The fuel burn isn't dependent upon what you're in iRacing. It is dependent upon where your foot is on the throttle. So the more you press the throttle, the more you burn. You can play to that a little bit. Say under safety car, if you stay in...
Edward's going to go through that list right now. Sorry,
go for it.
Go ahead, Edward.
Yeah. Anyways, Caballero will start from pole position. Elias Sauer in second place. Alex Eguia will start third with Radecki in fourth place. The third row will have Junsto Vale in fifth place and Johan Rousselio in sixth place. Joe Taberner seventh. Hannes Schlogel in eighth place. Bas Kessel in ninth. Kevin Stam will round up the top 10. Then we will have Leon Van Elvoet in 11th place and Lee Ballmer in 12th place. Steve Grabowski 13, Mark Stevens 14, Adrian Vigil 15, and Carlos Fernandez, who have not took part in the qualifying. I don't know if he will start the race, but anyways, he have been classified as 16th. In P17, we are having Elias Stromer, but he will not start the race because he's our safety car driver for today's race.
Yep, as we can see by the colour in the name there, he's got a name.
Oh.
Safety car.
So, yeah, it's a tradition, isn't it, to have a German drive a safety car. So there it is. And fantastic work, by the way, there, Edward. I think you got through those names brilliantly, actually. And even with a twist of the accent, I'm sure even the drivers themselves will be impressed with how you pronounce their names. Yeah, Carlos Fernandez, no doubt. I'm sure he's a Spaniard. surprising. But then again, Cabaneo, he has the tilde on the end. Well, it's because it's Portuguese, it looks like. Or Portuguese / Spanish. From, that's right, Iberia. Aha, there it is. Kind of about best of both worlds on that one. But he'll be starting on pole.
Anyway, because 10 seconds till start the race, so we should get prepared for 32 laps of maximum racing. The lights have come on. We will be going for 5 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights ahead of the drivers, and away we go. That's a bad start from the poleman who knows to place. Elias Sauer is in the first place right now, with Alex Eguia right behind him. We are now watching. There's the crash. Kivi Sam have been punted from behind. Elias Sauer is still leading the race with Alex Eguia in second place. Jungsto Vale has gone up in third place from starting 5th. And there was a spin. I think that was either Cabanero. Yes, the poleman. The driver that started in pole position is round, and also Liam Van Elwood.
Exactly, it's gone a little bit pear-shaped out. The Spaniard's got his golf up to P2 there. So, yeah, you could see there, they bogged down at the start, didn't they? They hit the loud pedal and the tyres were screaming. They still loud did another.
Jungso Vale, the teammate.
Oh,
that's gone from bad to worse for the Iberia racing team. And we're now watching the spin.
Yeah, that was it, just ahead of their Joe. So the Iberian team actually losing both drivers out all the way back plump there, 15th and 16th, I think, currently at the moment. As we do have the German leading the race there from the Spaniard. Joe's out up 4 positions, I believe, up in P3 currently at the moment. And there's the man that you love to pronounce currently in P4 that we're watching. What was his name again?
Radecki Gregors, I would say, but I'm saying that in a very British way.
G'day, guys. Here he is from Central Europe. I mean, come on, he's from your part of the world there, Edward.
Like by side he is right now with Joe Taberner.
Yeah. Anyways, he's up on the podium places. He's up in third place. So, Radecki Gregors is in third place.
It looked like Joe. I mean, it looks like Joe led him through here. So they're teammates, obviously. So they're playing that game. Hopefully they're teammates. They look like the exact same livery, so I'm pretty sure they are. One of them's got a little bit of green on the back there of the car, and the other one's got a little bit of blue to determine there. Mark Stevens currently watching at the moment in P6, putting a bit of pressure there on Hans Google, the Dutch. I'm not very good at the Dutch, but you pronounced that really brilliantly there before, Edward. But that's the current situation, and also Baz is keeping him for company here on lap 2 of 32 here in second to Barcelona.
Anyways, I don't think they're teammates, Gregors and Taberner, because even though they have the same liveries, they are from different teams, if I'm not wrong. But anyways, as you mentioned, we are watching Mark Stevens, and Bas Kessel is very close behind him. He will surely think about a move, but it's impossible to do here in turns 14, 15, and 16. Very slow, very technical corners, but he will have a very good chance on the start-finish line. But yeah, dirt year plays a big part and has already lost a second.
Yeah, dirty like a real Formula 1 car, doesn't it? Once again, difficult to overtake, as you mentioned. No DRS. Well, DRS should be enabled perhaps on this lap coming up soon. So far, so good. I think everybody has survived that notorious turn 11 so far. But remember, they're early. The tyres are still grippy. Just the heart rate is through the roof. Hopefully, one day, I think here at Any Store Racing, we can get a little heart rate monitor that we can put on the drivers and actually have show that beats. But you can actually get a little over. I believe you can get a little overlay graphic to show that. Pull that up there and see what the heart rate monitor is, especially at the start of the race. So a few retirements already as well, unfortunately. We're still Leon in the pits for a very long time. They're just banging bits and pieces out of that car, doing what happened to Max Verstappen's car on the red flag conditions and trying to fix that whole side pod or whatever, or the underfloor damage. But anyway, looks like he might be back out again. But yeah, 2 retirements.
There's an overtake. Mark Stevens won the place. He's up in the 5th place over Tokane Struggle, who he's at the flat out team, but he doesn't look like he's going flat out right now because he's going down.
He's harvesting energy. You can see on the back of the car there. So the red light flashing means that they are trying to harvest some energy. If it is the same, and you can see that was there for a second. So down the main straight to start what would be lap 5, I believe, or lap 4. My apologies.
Was a spin, I think. Leo Balmer was losing a lot of places, and he looks stuck there. So maybe turn 12 has done his first victim.
You could be right on that one. Exactly. You can see now you got 3 packs, aren't you?
I do have a replay of Lee Barmer then, whatever it was that happened. right now?
Yeah, let's please. Yeah, let's go look at that replay brilliantly. Okay, what happened here? Where is he? Is it the rear end goes out here?
Oh,
No, that's
Hold over.
unusual. Yeah.
Controller disconnected.
Could be, yeah, for sure. That's just like, even I can't do that, and I'm a horrible driver. So there's definitely some technical issue down there for sure. These drivers are great. They don't make little biggest mistakes like that.
I wonder what's the gap between the first two drivers, because Alex Guia was faster in. Well, he obviously started behind the last hour, but he looked like he was faster.
He is faster than you, according to Fernando Alonso. I'm not quite sure. You can see the packs that are forming now, as you know, they're starting to space out a little bit. You're getting that big. You can see them all that train there down the main straight, and then you get a little bit of a gap back there. You got a solo driver there currently. I think that's car 49 or something. It's just coming over the line now. Then you got a little bit of a nice little midfield pack, and then the rest of the drivers are starting to bunch up. They're almost going to be lapped soon at the moment, but that's because they had very long pit stops, of course. And the pit stop around here would be about 21 seconds in real F1 time, but I'm not quite sure what it is in iRacing.
It's pretty much the same.
I would imagine it's something very similar. Yeah, 22.5 seconds.
Okay, I did my research then. That's because I'm used to it from the Formula One, so that's not bad, exactly. That all depends, of course, on your in and out. Like, you got to slam the brakes there and obviously stick to the speed limit. Do you get a speeding in the pit lane?
So, yeah, you can get a speed in the pit lane. It's
Okay.
pretty harsh. You get I think it's a hold penalty. We have to hold in the box. Lee Barmer did a 19.7 second stop, which is drive in, stop, and drive out.
That's Red Bull territory right there for pit stops.
His box time was 1.4 seconds.
Unbelievable. That's probably the record. I think it was 2.1 or something, wasn't it, for the real F1 for a pit stop? Because Red Bull used that brand new technology, of course, where I think they laser scan where they're putting the car in positions and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, they took a little bit of initiative, and it definitely paid off because in terms of Formula One, every tiny millisecond or nanosecond make all the difference. We're seeing a battle right now occurring between Baz, as we're on board with there, and just up the road there, Skoogel, the Dutch driver, also lived in the Netherlands. You'd think I'd be able to pronounce some Dutch. Jeez, where haven't I lived? Anyway, not in Spain, that's for sure. But we are here in Catalunya.
Even we're now going through turns 7 and 8, but we've said a lot of times already, it's very hard to overtake on this track, and Vasquez proves this very good because he has been stuck behind Hannes for about 4 laps, and he looks like he's not finding a way past the Austrian driver.
The Austrian driver was quite good in Austria as well too, I think, recently. Great camera angles were on board, seeing how it looks. Sorry about yep. As you can see, they're climbing back down again in the hill. So spotting the apexes, going through there, following the car for a little bit. Dirty air, obviously, is massively more to work with here. That's obviously the reason why they're trying to get those 2022 cars DRS activated down the main straight, because the dirty air is the one that's going to cause you a bit of problem. But you can see the straight line speed. Hopefully, they do want to get rid of the DRS, of course, because it's basically a cheat code, isn't it? But it's the only way to get cars closer together on track. We have to work with what we have to work with at the moment. And tire wear, well, I think you'd mentioned there before that to Gez in obviously the other car formats at any store racing, that the first few laps are the ones that are crucial for your tire, like nursing your tires, right?
Yeah, first 2 laps, warming up, and after that, pretty golden unless you overheat them.
And what about undercuts and overcuts, guys? Like, obviously, it's mandatory pit stop. We're on lap 7 of 32. Is there a golden zone, you think, that is the ultimate time to put some new boots on?
I for this track, I have no idea in the slightest, but there will be. There absolutely will. We've seen it happen in other races here. Undercuts and overcuts. So I'm sure people will be trying to do it.
Yeah, Ethan, thank you very much. Go ahead, sorry.
I don't know if it's the same like in the Formula 1 game, but with the 50% race in Formula 1, it was you had to do 2 pit stops on this track because it's very easy to get tire wear every single lap on this track. So yeah, we might see some different strategy. I don't think we will actually see a 2 pit stop race today, but I remember when I was playing the Formula 1 games, I was always getting a puncture, especially the games like F1 2014. It was very hard.
But as Gez mentioned before, like that's the difference obviously between this sim racing, because they actually do put a lot of effort into modeling the tires so that they're as accurate as possible, rather than just. And I know because I work with a programmer that does the telemetry software, and he's a German engineer. Actually he actually works for a German engineering car, so he knows exactly. And he just lives for telemetry information because he works on real cars. Yeah, it's just data stumping. It's basically just working out percentages at the end of the day. Okay, it does kind of in the Formula 1 game. It does see how much you punish your tires. Obviously, hitting the chicanes and stuff like that does a little bit more, but it's just digital. Just like add a couple of value. Ethan out there, rubbing about my worldwide life. Well, mate, if you commentate and you get flown to different parts of the world, you tend to learn what's happening. Anyway, the virtual. Thank you very much. Baz still doesn't seem to be able to do anything about that Dutch driver.
I think we should be watching the first 2 drivers, because the gap was about 2 seconds and now it's down to 0.9 seconds. So Alex Seguya has recovered and he looks like he's faster than the German driver ahead of him.
Yeah, he's got the call from Fernando. Well, he's got the other call, isn't it? He's like, Alex, it's like, you are faster than the man in P1. Can we go on board at the moment? I'd like to see how he's going to struggle with this. Well, I want to see how he's fighting this car around here for the Spaniard. And there it is. I love it. It feels good, doesn't it? Climbing up through here. Big it. So I have that yellow sausage curb to throw that car into Mars if you don't get it right. You can see he's going to follow his car down. Now, obviously, these guys don't have racing lines and stuff like that. So you got your spot, your braking markers, and a little bit of a lock-up you can see up ahead.
Yeah, but anyways, I wonder, like, we're having a Spanish driver in first place and also a Spanish driver in second place. And I wonder if these drivers have raced more on their home track, because obviously there is not a racing track here in Romania to race on. I wouldn't usually race more on it.
There is. I mean, I've been up to some of the parts of the countryside in Romania, which I class. Look at the DRS. That's the thing that's almighty. But you can't send up the inside there. I guess you're setting a dummy there. I don't think Ellis is from Spain, but my friend, I think he's German. So
he's German. Caballero is Spanish.
That's all right. It's okay. It's good. I like it. You can see there where you're gaining and where you're not. Now, as a driver, if you're in P1, are you kind of a little bit scared looking in your mirrors, or are you just focusing on your own race up ahead?
It's hard, especially when you have a driver that is so close behind you. I don't know, maybe Elias is saving tires, and Alex being there in the dirt here, he's destroying his tires. So this might be strategy. You never know.
You can see too on those tires, and you can see the marks there. As they ever run a little bit wide, you're picking up a little bit of dirt on the outside, all that rubber, the discarded rubber that's there. It does, obviously there's a proper simulation game. It does pick it up. It shows you. It also loses a bit of traction. You let it go as wide as possible. Once again, avoid that sausage curd. It'll throw the car up. You can see he's gaining through this. This is the all-important third sector. That's where he's making it, because he wants to get a good exit out of here and get that wing open and get that DRS. So this could be one of the closest opportunities he's had.
He's close. He's close, and he's gaining. He will go on inside in turn 1, and lap 11 out of 32. We are having a change at the lead of the race. Alex Seguya is now first on his home track, but the last hour is still very close. He will want to get a position back, but it's impossible to do any move here in the first sector.
He's timed it perfectly, hasn't he? But he's used a bit of the ERS energy as well. And I think Saber's like, okay, don't worry about it, my friend. I'm going to get that ERS or DRS obviously back soon. And he's keeping him company there. That's the hard part, getting there. Now I've broken the dirty air. And now I've got to, try to keep this man behind me. That you don't like, obviously, as a driver being overtaken. So you want revenge. And now Alex has to put his head down and just focus. Because this is the first time he's had clear air all race long.
But he was so fast in the dirty air. I wonder what he can do in clear air. But anyways, Elias Sauer, if he can keep in that 1 second margin, he will get DRS the next lap. So the next lap when he will get on the straight line.
Yeah, Ellis is also harvesting energy. He's on that crucial bar area there. It's 6 seconds. He wants to keep that DRS. I think that might be helping a little bit too, because
he's in. Alex is in the pit lane.
Ooh, interesting strategy here. So undercut, overcut. Let's see what the team can do here for the Spaniard. I mean, he's obviously got the locals here to cheer him on while he's in the pit lane. Let's see if they get the pit crew there to slap those tires on in 1.7 or so seconds. Probably be the record right now. We can't see him, of course, but let's virtually. Ted, down to you.
Okay, so that pit stop was 4.2 seconds, 22.5 seconds in total, which is pretty average. 4.2 is actually pretty damn quick tires as well.
He's come back out crucially in clear air. That's also another key, isn't it? Now he's going to get his head down, fresh tires, fresh pace. No doubt he should be sitting perfect.
And I believe we are actually seeing a graphic glitch in it. He's on the mediums right now. He's not on...
Okay. Yeah, if it has to, of course. You have to change your tire compound, can't you? So it's going to be a soft to mediums for all the drivers. I believe they did start on the soft tires. And yeah, now obviously fresh boots got to feel good, doesn't it, coming out? But it's lap 12 of 32, so they got a bit of work to do. And looks like Ben Spass at the moment still can't do anything about that Dutch driver. But he's been within the DRS for 12 laps now at the end of the day. Oh, he's in.
I thought was also in the pit lane.
This is going to be interesting to see. So how's it going to pay off? Where currently is the Spaniard? Because
So
that's
now-
going to... Yeah. Here's
now
Alex.
Radicki is in the first place. Radicki Gregors.
Yeah, Gregor's coming out of the pit lane now or coming soon. This could be a race down the main straight.
Elias is on the pit exit. He's revving his car, but Alex Iguya has gone, and that's a big gap.
Yeah, it's what happened. Did you see that? Did you see Alice is like he cooked? He fired the tires up too much, lost too much traction coming out of the pit lane exit.
I don't think that made a difference, but the lap that Alex Iguya has done on fresh tires, I think that's where the 2 seconds are coming from.
Paid off dividends. Well, that's what you get, don't you, for being a Spaniard? You grew up around here, you know the track, and now he's got a bit of breathing space because you crucially broke that DRS.
Yeah, but now it's hard. It's hard to recover because, and the gap is going big. From 2 seconds now, it's 3.5. So the cold tires are playing in favor of Alex Iguya.
Yeah, I think they've done it right. They called it. At the moment, you got to think right now, if you're Bass saying, look, there's no way I can find my way past the Dutch driver. So what do I do? Sorry, Bass is, well, I'm not quite sure where he's from, but he's been tucked up behind. I know that Hannes Scugolo is still, yeah, they both butt a box. So there it is. Oh, then again, any chance that you wanted to try to do an overcut or undercut or over, and look how close they are. Make sure you get your right pit box entrance as well, too. We see even the Formula 1 drivers go, oops, in the wrong pit box.
Joe Taberner is now very close to Elias.
Yes,
only 3 tenths between them. Oh, and he's gone wide. Joe Taberner gone wide. He lost 1 second there.
That's dirty air, it looks like effect, doesn't it, too? Dirty air and old tyres are not a mix you want for the British driver who...
Boxed. He's on fresh tires, so he boxed in the same lap as Elias Sauer. He's on the same strategy.
Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. Apologies. I'm just looking at his wonderful picture there. I'm quite sure what it is in the background. Looks like a Formula 1 car in the background. That's the car probably he was driving. We get on the Brit. I mean, they're not good at cricket, but they're not bad drivers. I'll tell you that for sure. Did take me a long to read that reference up, did it? 14 to 32, so almost getting to the halfway point of this race. 18 minutes and change out of a maximum of 1 hour and 20, but so far so good. Looks like we'll get this race done at least in about 50 minutes, pending no safety cars. So far so good, as you mentioned.
My telemetry predicts 20 precisely.
Yeah, I called it about the 50 mark. As you can see on the track map, they're all pretty much spread out, but we have still some of the drivers to box, still some of the drivers to get on with it. Bass once again must be just annoyed that he's tucked up once again in that same situation between P6 and P7. But he's getting close right now. You might want to go to that one, and you have called it perfectly, Mr. Producer, because this is, I think Baz now is saying, yeah, okay, look, all right, I'm done with this. I'm going to dispose with this car one way or the other. But what can Hannes do about this? That's the key, isn't it? Oh, the DRS is mighty powerful. But can he set it up the inside? I think he will. This is a repeat, wasn't it, of the change of the lead of the race? And that's it, textbook 101. Get the job done.
That was an easy move.
You mentioned that earlier, didn't you? About Edward, like the key overtaking opportunities are into that turn 1, into the elf corner.
It's hard to overtake. Like, you don't have any other hard braking zones to overtake. There is also turn 10, but I don't think we have seen a move so far in La Caixa.
You're right, and well, this is the thing too. He's going to get to that settle down stage, I think, at the moment for the middle of the Spanish racing that occurs, obviously in the real F1 world, which is also the reason why I like in more 50% races than 100% races, because they don't get that field spread out so much. And you've got to just a strategy now. It's like taking care of those tires, because what happens towards the end of the race and those tires start falling off the cliff, you start seeing mistakes from drivers. So this is the crucial time of just like focusing on your delta times, talking to your Jeff out there and saying, okay, you know, how is it going? How are the tires feeling?
Yes,
Remember, there's a long race. So yeah, you're a halfway point. You've got a lot of work to do.
I agree, and we've seen a pit stop after lap 11 and 12. And so if the softs are holding on for 12 laps, are we going to see mediums to the end? Or we might see someone trying a soft, medium, soft strategy to maybe go absolutely flat out every single lap, as per what you kind of struggle, the driver from the flat out racing team.
He's been flat out all the time, but unfortunately he's been, well, you know, at least at the moment, you know, and this is the first time he's had to follow Basser around the track, because for the last, 15 or so laps, he's been ahead of Bass, and now Bass is, so it's role in reverse. And let's see if we can put the pressure on Bass and see if we can force Bass into a mistake. Bass gaining 3 positions there. Mark Stevens up into P2, but yet to box, I believe. And who's in P1 again there, Ed?
I don't know, because the name is red. I can't see it.
Oh, they're still. I think is Radic still? Okay, the Radstar. Is he still yet to box, guys?
Yes.
Look.
Yes,
Yeah, he hasn't boxed yet, and Mark Steve boxed yet either.
Yeah, but Mark's
Anyways.
up 12 positions and putting pressure on our race leader. We're just dropping in now the DRS.
So if my math is correct, Mark Stevens, when he will box, he will come out in 4th or 5th place. So that will be a recovery of 7 places. From
That's
the
a-
grid position.
Well, yeah, that's a good drive. Exactly. Because I'm not quite sure if you can show the gap to leader, because it is showing the interval
I
times.
can.
Yeah, fantastic if you could, because that'll give us an indication. We know the pit stops around here where we calculated about 20, anywhere between 20 and 22 seconds, 23 seconds. There it is. So our race leader currently provisional race leader's boxing. That'll give us an indication of where he's going to come back out. As you can see, those drivers, 71 cars coming around the final couple of corners. We do have, obviously, Radic in the pits, and they're going to be those slap tires on. 71's going to come down the main straight. Also, 17 and 14 are coming down there. I don't think he's going to get ahead, but he might squeeze in just ahead of the 14 car.
Beagles, and Mark Stevens is absolutely rapid. Look at the last lap, 17.8. That's only 4/10 lower than Alex Eguya, who is on fresh tires. Mark Stevens is on the same tire from the start of the race.
Wow. Yep. Well, tire management 101. We've seen that before, haven't we, from drivers? They can just really just stretch them, make it work. I've seen it before in all the racing leagues I've done before. Some drivers are brilliant on their tires. Some drivers are just like, Pirelli's saying, "What have you done to our product? You've destroyed it." So that's going to be crucial, isn't it? How far Mark can stretch this? He got the times in. Certainly got the times. He's going to drop a little bit of time, but really on old tires, that's not bad. Where will he slot back out? We just saw Reddit come from P1 drop to P5. I think it'd be very crucial right now if Mark boxes and gets ahead of Joe at least.
Yeah, look at the
Maybe.
gap. It's getting bigger. Well, now he lost 4/10, but Mark Stevens is losing a lot of time in the last sector. But besides
He's got to,
that,
I think now the last sector, of course, is the punishing one on the tires, isn't it? Which indicates that. Can Mark come in now? He's going to have to think about this soon. He's got clear air, nobody around him, can just focus on it. And once again,
Elias Sauer is losing places. I think he's pinned in the last corner there.
I think I do have some telemetry. Yes.
you probably have a replay of that one too.
I do. Right
There we
here.
go. Oh, yeah. That's fresh tires too. That's just pressure.
So the driver that has started from 7th place and has led the race for about 10 laps is now down in 5th place.
Yep, still time to get it done, but a little bit of pride damage for the German driver. Now, Mark Stevens has got to be thinking about this. This could be, he's in the third sector. This is where he's been losing the tire, of course, time. And that's not because of his problems, because the tires just don't stick to the track as much as they can. It shows him on the mediums, but he's still yet to box. He started the mediums, or what? I'm not quite sure. What's going on there?
Because Mark Stevens is the fastest driver on track, and he's on the same tires that he has started the race with.
Yeah, are they the mediums? That's what I'm curious about, Mr. Race Director.
17.2.
Yeah, he's on mediums right now.
Like, so you can change the tires. So he did start at the mediums. He's going to go to the softs then.
He might think about a win, because now he's on old mediums and he's still faster than everyone. When he will box on fresh softs while everyone will be on old mediums, he will just fly past everyone.
Yeah, if you're putting in these lap times right now, 17.2s, you don't need to box at all. Just keep going. I mean, the only problem, of course, as well, is that, you clip the chicane a little bit too much there and the rear comes out. We saw that before, didn't we, from the German driver? That's the biggest problem right now. But he's so clear on the track. He's got a bit of a back marker coming up, I think, soon. He might even get a little bit of a DRS toe from it. You see the speed. He's already catching the 18 car. He's about to lap. As through the third sector, you can see that on the track map. Look at the way he's gaining on that car. He'll be there by the time they get down the main straight.
Anyways, there was something that we missed while we were talking about something else. Radecki is now in third place. He overtook Joe Taberner. So virtually, Radecki is in a second place, because when Mark will box, he will get out in third or fourth place.
I think third. He's got to target third. That's the gap. It's 20 seconds. We know the pit stops are around that. It's not guaranteed, of course, because it's up to the crew. It's up to the driver, in and out. And that's what he's thinking right now, Mark. But I tell you what, if you're still putting in, low 17s, that's good. And he'll get a DRS toe right now from a back marker. But obviously don't talk to the other driver, unfortunately. The back marker got completely out of the way. So I think they should even get a DRS toe from that one.
Radecki fastest lap.
Okay, so now you might have to respond from the... I can't read that, sorry, at the moment, what the racing team is there from Mark. It's a little blurred, but this might be the time to react. When the other drivers right now are starting to put in some hot laps, and you're going to lose, half a second a lap now? And then that's the crucial point, isn't it? 20.8 is the pit stop gap territory.
Yeah, but he doesn't know it. He cannot see it. He's alone. I don't think he has a team manager.
You need an engineer. You got Jeff. Everybody got Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff there. Yeah, this is crucial. This is it. What do you guys think out there? Obviously, in the chat, please let us know. I know most of the drivers are actually probably listening into this one. But, it's going to be a strategy call, isn't it? Because you're going to box. You also have to allow yourself enough. He has to overtake. He will have to overtake some cars. And you're getting on lap 22 or 32. So you're going to allow yourself, 10 or so laps to overtake. You know how difficult it is to overtake around here. So you don't allow too much time to get the job done on the last couple of laps.
Yeah, but what's the point in going into the pit lane when you are still faster than the cars behind?
Because mandatory pit stop, you still have to box.
Yeah, I'm not talking about it, but why to box now? Why would you change something that works perfectly? Obviously, he will have to pit at one point, and he will have to recover.
Well, because he's got he needs an opportunity to re-overtake.
Yeah,
he's going for a race win here. He doesn't care about the dropping back to P3. I think he'll allow himself enough time to try to get an overtake, but that's... it's a tall order. I think you're right on that one.
Oh, this is interesting. And Mark Stevens, just to remind, he's starting from 14th place.
Yeah, but that's once again still he's going to gain a lot. Joe is still tucked up here, and I don't know, because go back to the intervals again, because we know that, thank you for that, Mark is on a pit stop bubble between P3 and P4. But I want to see the interval gaps between, obviously, Alex. There it is. So it's 3 seconds. If he comes back out right now, I think Alex might have this one wrapped up. But can he get the P2? That'll be the question he's going to be thinking right now, the crunching numbers.
I don't think that's wrapped up, because Mark Stevens is faster than Alex Eguia on all mediums. If he will box now, the gap between him and Alex would be about 8-7 seconds. With 10 laps to go, that would mean less than a second per lap.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's got to think about doing the boxing soon, because you've got to allow yourself enough time to get that 1 or so seconds per lap. At the moment, you're in 23 or 32. So how long are you going to allow? 6-7 laps?
Radicki is also very fast. I think that has gone under the radar. Not only that he overtook Joe Taberner, but look at his lap times. 5 tenths faster than Alex Eguia. He might also catch him till the end of the race. So
You're right.
we might see a 3-way battle for the win.
I think you and I are having a Toto Wolff and Christian Horner argument. Well, not argument, of course, debate on which is the better strategy down there. As you and me need to get together head to head as team engineers. I love that.
I agree.
Sure. I think I want to see if I can out-strategize yourself, but you probably out-strategize me. Okay, here it is. So what are we going to keep an eye on? Raddick. Oh, Raddick start. The old Raddick. Obviously, Alex is going to go through, but how's Raddick and Joe? So that's the key. Where are they? Coming around the final couple of corners. Obviously, we know Mark's in the pit lane.
They will be ahead. I think Mark Stevens will get out of the pit lane behind Joe Taberner because Chris Radicki has gone through. Also Joe Taberner. So that's Mark Stevens in 4th place. He's very close.
So his pit stop was average. He did 4.3 seconds in the box and 22 seconds in total.
Right. So they let him down a little bit, but remember, he's still up 10 places and he got his pit stop done, but he's on the soft tire. So let's have a look at that. Gap is 2.2 to Joe, but that's going to be annihilated. Once he gets to obviously cool down, get the temperature in the tires, don't go too crazy too quickly. And then hammer time, isn't it? Well, it's Mark time.
That's it. 9 laps, 6 seconds to Alex Eguia. He have to recover about 1 second per lap to obviously get some time to prepare and also execute the overtake. But yeah,
he's got down to 1.8 already. Look at this. Yeah, he is. Can we go on board with Mark right now? I want to see how he's pushing this car. He's got to be feeling good, isn't he? The Dutch driver. He's like, I'm up 10 positions, and I'm here looking for not only a podium, perhaps a P2, perhaps a P1 if he could pull off a last lap Lando, or if he could pull off a Max Verstappen. And we know how quick the Dutch drivers can bring it home in a race. Lap 25 of 32. Now, this is definitely time. It's down to 1 second. Rapid. You're right. It's down, almost going to break DRS.
Next lap, if he will not overtake in this lap, on the next time we will be on the start finish line, he will be in the DRS zone. He's recovering about 3 tenths every single corner. We've gone there through the first and second turns in the section.
And he's done 3 tenths already just coming through those corners. He's going to have him, isn't he? Oh my God, look at the speed. It's showing the medium tires, but I believe he's on the softs.
Yes.
Yeah, look at this. Where do you think he's going to get done? He's got to be playing it safe too as well. So you don't want to risk it for the biscuit too early.
He doesn't have time to wait. I think he will do it in turn 10 in La Caixa. Because look how much faster he is in turn 9 in Kemsa and on the DRS, on the slipstream, going to turn 10. Will he go below, please?
He's got it up. He's got it. There it is. You wanted it. You wanted your 11th turn, and it's done. And it's done at the crucial time. Because now he can get on with it. There's nothing, obviously, Joe can do about that, of course. He can't defend against tires and the almighty Mark. Mark is going to... What are you guys out there thinking Mark can win this race? He has time. He's what? By about 5 seconds down the road, he can see that there are 2 drivers up ahead now on the main straight.
Oh, 1:16.5. So that's 1.1 seconds faster than Alex Eguia. And also Radicki is faster than Alex Eguia.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Well, this is only race 5 here in Barcelona, but I can tell you what right now. Shocking upsets, isn't it? We didn't think the Dutchman. We thought the Spaniard was going to be able to control this one. The Spaniard might be going, okay, we're in a little bit of trouble here. We are definitely in a bit of trouble because this man is on a mission. This man is in another galaxy far, far away, and you're right. He's a second a lap, and he can already see the next 2 victims up the road per se.
Ooh, bit squirrely there, a bit wide. And you can tell that his time's dropping back a little bit on this straight because he didn't quite the exit he needed.
He's got the time.
I think another lock
up. Yeah.
Oh, the pressure got up to him.
Yeah, maybe he's tuning in right now going, guys, please let me focus. I'm trying to get this guy. I'm trying to get a race win. Anyway, I would not be listening to us right now if your stunning drive. I'm sure he isn't, but yeah, you can see the man that we can't pronounce. It's great. It's Raddick. I'm just going to call him the Raddick, the Radster. And the red start, well, look at this. Look, he's going to get him the DRS. He's not going to get him, obviously, into turn 1 because he's just outside DRS, but he's going to get down half a second. That's what you want, isn't it? Half a second into turn 1.
116.4. So that's, with all the mistakes that he has done on this lap, he's still 2 tenths faster than the last fast lap from him.
Look at the gap he already got to Joe. 3 seconds after overtaking in the lap before. 3 seconds. And now, is he going to try? I think he might be thinking about it. Overtaking turn 11 again.
Yep, in La Caixa.
Yeah, it seems to be his favorite place right now. He might have, yeah, he's got to do it. I think he's exactly thinking about that because here, you're going to go through, obviously, the Kings of Campstar, line him up, and then the power down here. You're going to get that DRS, get a good exit out of here.
We're seeing what he is actually seeing when racing. He's a little bit far away, too far away to think about a move, and Mark Stevens will be staying in third place for now, but 5 corners to go until the start finish line, and the move is on the cars there because it's very close.
Yeah, he's got to get it through here. Look at the traction, remember, as well, too. His tires are just brilliantly, they're glued to the track. So he's got to think about it down the main straight, of course. Get a great exit. He's got it. He's got it. Even before the DRS activation, that's job done.
Radecki is going right to defend, but there's no way to defend Mark Stevens because on a straight line, that's a breezy move. Is he going to try to get back? No, he doesn't.
Yeah, no way. I think Mark's clever. He goes, mate, my friend, you might be able to sit, defensive, but I can outdrive you around any corner of the track right now because my tires are great. And what Mark is thinking about right now is spoiling the Spaniards. And I tell you what, Mark, if you do want to leave this country, be very careful when you do beat the Spaniard because, you do have to exit the country. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be the battle for the lead of the race. Well, he's got a ton of time, doesn't he, up his sleeve? He's got about 7 laps. And at this pace, he could get done at about 3 or 4.
Oh, this is less than a second. He will have DRS. He has DRS going on a straight line between Kempsa and La Caixa. And on lap 26 out of 32, he's, pretty much on his gearbox. Well, there's still some things between those two. But Mark Stevens is very close. Remember, guys, he has started in 14th place. He's now in 2nd place, battling for the lead. Only 4 tenths between him and Alex. Going now through New Holland, the last corner, and he will have the DRS. This is it. Start of lap number 29. Mark Stevens, DRS open, full throttle, and in turn 1, Mark Stevens will go on his side, and that's it. That's it. Change of the lead. Mark Stevens is leading with 4 laps to go.
Oh my God.
Barcelona de Catalunya.
Yeah, if you could focus the camera right now to the orange army that would be filling that grandstand, of course, all the Spaniards here, 50,000 Spaniards have just gone, no, Mikey, no, Marky, no. But, it is what it is. I mean, Alex, obviously, Mark's got it. I think Mark's just on a mission, isn't he? He's like, okay, oh, wow. The Flying Dutchman. Forget it. Max Verstappen, your contract's over. This is the new man in town.
And that's it. Alex Gui is too slow. There's no way he can get back to Mark Stevens and try to think about it because Mark has obviously the newer tires and is very fast. We're now watching Bas Kessel and Agnes Schogel. They had something against each other since the start of this race and they are very close one to each other. Once again on lap number 29. Bas will have the DRS through here, but it's very hard to overtake in turn 10. We've seen only one overtake here done by the man himself, Mark Stevens, who sets another fastest lap, 1:15.9.
I think Mark's already off to the next race. He's if obviously if there was a drive-through coffee, pick up your cappuccino and come back, he'd be there. Pick up some tappers actually. Well, 2 laps to go. Mark's done it. I'd have to say that. And what an absolute incredible drive. But we'll focus on this battle right now because Baz and Hannes have been here for some time right now. They've been following each other around like one way or another. This is an opportunity right for Baz. You know what? Okay, I'm sick of following you. But he's gone too wide. He's gone too deep.
Yep, that's it. I think that's it for the race because with only 3 laps to go, it's very hard to recover the 2 seconds between them two.
I think Mark's made a mistake.
He has. Oh, you don't want to make a mistake right now with a couple of laps to go there. Alex is going to be ready to pounce. Remember, he knows every inch of this track. He grew up around here.
Yeah, it's very hard to stay concentrated, He is now obviously in first place with the new tires, but he has no car to follow anymore. He just has to concentrate on the clock and obviously on the laps, because with 2 laps to go.
He's got to concentrate on not having a heart attack right now, because I'm sure his heart rate is through the roof. He probably didn't realize this. Starting so far back going, hey, am I about to win this race? Am I about to win it? We're on the penultimate lap. Keep it home there, Mark. Don't calm your heart rate down. Your heart rate down. Drink, hydrate. You will get the drink, hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. And you know what, guys out there? Sorry about your predictions there, but Kevin is in P9, and he did not retire in the first lap in the first corner. So sorry about your channel points being predicted. We don't have any. This is YouTube, and it's in HD 4K. Well,
but anyways, we've had 6 DNFs. I don't know what happened because we haven't seen many of them. I think we've only seen the DNF of the pole man of Caballero, but other than that,
yeah, the first corners, right? First couple of corners, you would expect that carnage, and they're probably sitting back at the moment in watching this race, going, "Damn, we need to choose Mark's strategy. That would seem to be the one that paid off, didn't it?" The man's in the 16s. He's in the 16s. And he's got that 2.7 second gap, so he definitely made a mistake. Did you have a replay or anything that happened with Mark? I'd be curious to know as we're on the last lap.
Nothing was recorded on telemetry, unfortunately. White flag's just been called, by the way. Means this is out the lap. Start finish.
Yeah,
So,
maybe he has just locked up, and that was from where he lost that much time, because when he locks up, obviously it doesn't appear on telemetry if he doesn't hit anything.
I'm sitting down there in turn 11, remember, that's where I'm sitting right now, and I'm getting my orange flare out ready. I'm going to fire that orange flare up. Mark, I'm sorry if you can't see the breaking point corners as you're coming up there, but you'll definitely see me holding my orange flare out there. I had a few colors in my flares, but at this point, I've got orange. I'm going to be flying that for you, my friend, because you've done an absolutely stellar job here. And, what a way to call it, strategy 101. We didn't expect it, did we? But I'm sure the other drivers didn't expect it. But hopefully we're going to hear from these drivers at the end of the race. I'm sure Mark is going to be absolutely ecstatic. Heineken's all around. He will be shouting us at the bar later on, hopefully. But look at that. What a drive, hasn't it? You did call it, didn't you, Edward? I think you and I need to go Team Engineers 101. But at the moment, I think it's 1 to Edward and 0 to Biggles.
Yeah, but anyways, the driver has started in 14th place. Will now cross the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix, the 3rd different winner of the season, Alex Eguia. The driver that is driving on his home soil cannot get a win, sadly, with Radicki Gregors in 3rd place, Joe Taberner 4th, and Elias also finished in 5th. We'll have Hannes Schlogel and Bas Kessel in 6th and 7th place. These 2 drivers couldn't be separated from the start of the race. Now, 2.7 seconds will separate them, but that's only caused by the mistake of Bas Kessel, Frank Vale in 8th place, and Kevin Sam in 9th place. So, Iberia will have a car finishing the race at last.
Yeah, Hannes and Baz went for it, and that's good. They should be teammates, really, at the end of the day, shouldn't they? Because they just like left, right, and center. It was great. And he had to go for it. Baz went for it. Didn't work. But I'm sure he's got, okay, fool me once, fool me twice. We'll get you. But Kevin finishes the race. There we go. That'll shut the Kevin haters out there. Or Kevin lovers, per se. Kevin is excited. He's like, I finished the race. Yes. I'm excited for you too, Kev, but I'm more excited for the Dutchman that's going to be on the Dutch arm. Is going to go ballistic, aren't they, here in Spain?
Biggles, first time I have gone through the grid. This time it's your turn.
No, you did it brilliant. You actually pronounced the man in P3 perfectly. Do it again, please.
No, it's your turn because I don't
Mark Stevens. Sorry. Mark Stevens has done the job of all jobs, and a 3-second gap there to Alex, the local Spaniard, that unfortunately will get that P2 position. Radical Jaraskok, and I screwed that one up, but we'll get ahead of Joe. He gets that P3, gets that podium, of course, there for the European nation. The Brit, yep, Joe gets that one ahead just of the Austrian driver, actually, so my apologies. Baz will get that P6 there. John Cole Alvelli will get that. Stop laughing at me. You got the German driver that was quite good, but had still finished the race there just ahead of Kevin. And then you got a bunch of the DNFs, and I hear laughter all around, but I can hear cheers from the Dutch army, that's for sure. That'll be your race results, of course, and you can read through the rest of those names because I can't pronounce them, but they were in it. And they were in it. Unfortunately, some big guns were lost out there, as obviously Ellis there had qualified quite well. Big carnage there at the start of the race, wasn't it? Atoy Gaboneo had a little bit of a tangle. But, it is a season. You don't win it every single race. You win it by bringing it home when you can bring it home. Did anybody really expect Mark to come through and win this race?
No, but he was absolutely rapid. We were seeing him with the old medium tires. He was faster on those old medium tires, faster than drivers who has boxed and were on fresh medium. So, that was for me the moment that I actually knew that he will make it, because he was increasing the gap to the drivers behind. And I actually wonder what happened to him in qualifying, that he has started so far down. I don't think he actually took part in qualifying.
I think he just wanted to last the first challenge, perhaps even, you know what I mean? Like just to show off his skills around Circuit de Barcelona. Well, the only way to find out, isn't it, to actually ask the driver, of course, and we have to drag him in there. Of course, let him have a bit of a breather, of course, because that was a hard, sweaty race. Of course, they have to get out there.
Because Radicki is again on the podium, and if this time I will not ask him how is his name pronounced.
Like, you got it right. You got it right. Radicki. I think that's right. I honestly, you said it right just before as well. I was like, okay, finally, it took you about 3 races, but you got it done.
Wait, I wonder.
And we get him in for we have to get the top 3, obviously, in for an interview.
Well, I can get Mark. I can get Mark, I can get Alex, but no one knows who Radecki is in the Discord. So we're currently trying to hunt him down.
Hashtag, where is Radecki? Where's the Radstar? Where is he? He's like, where's Waldo, isn't he? But he's a privateer, of course. He's in the European nation somewhere. We'll find him. Europe's not that big.
Hello, Mark.
Mark. Well, okay, guys, we're going to go ready for some live interviews, of course. Now, I need to lay down. I need to cool down. But you guys, wow, absolutely fantastic. Well, Mark, we're going to come back to you, of course, because I need you to have a bit of a breather, because you're probably like, yeah, I can see your heart rate monitor right now. So what do you guys want to go? Okay, so the local Spaniard hero there, Alex, muy bien, absolutely muy bien on a race.
You.
But unfortunately, it didn't come out. I heard the 50,000 Spaniards cheering for you, but yeah, mate, how was your race?
It was tricky because I had to manage the tires. I stopped a little bit too early with the soft tires, but I wanted track position. And once I got it, I didn't doubt, and I came to pits. But I know that Mark was on a different strategy, starting with the mediums, and he's going to be so fast at the end. And when I saw him coming, I just let him by and don't lose so much time fighting with him to finish P2.
You had a bit of a longer pit stop, I think it was. Jared was saying it was. Was there a mistake down there in the pit lane? I thought you had.
Yeah, maybe I had a bit of a wheel spin and when I was released, and yeah, it was a bit bad stop. Yeah.
Were you seeing a smooth operator in the car when you were leading the race for some time? I'm just curious about that one.
Nah, and also Elias had a span in the final turn. I think, I don't know what lap it was, but I was checking the relative every now and then, knowing that I had to fight for the win, even for the P2 if Elias hadn't spun. So yeah, it was tricky, and it wasn't sure that I was about to win at all.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I think obviously that strategy you realized, it wasn't going to work, and it is what it is. But your qualifying performance is brilliant. You practically were the quickest man on the track today, obviously penning the tires, because I'm sure it would have been fantastic to see you and Mark on the soft tires towards the end battling it out. But it is what it is. And remember, Mark still has to leave the track, and you are the local hero. So I'm sure the fans might not let Mark leave this track this evening. But overall, Alex, did you aside from strategies, you practically would have had the win today.
I don't know. We were discussing earlier with Mark that the track was quite tricky, very low grip, and it was a tricky setup, a tricky race. I don't know.
Your race start was brilliant as well too. If I recall that a lot of it, I think it was the driver on P2, if I'm not mistaken, can't remember what it was, but just a little bit heavy on the throttle and it's like overspinning, and you just like almost slice your way up into P1 almost. I think by turn 1. You had a good launch at the start, right?
Yes. At the start, it was Eloy. I think it was a Spaniard as well with that name. But yeah, the stars are have the trick to start well with the double clutch, and I think it's fantastic to have it.
And have you been to the circuit before too? Obviously, as a local Spaniard.
Say again.
Have you been to the circuit before? Obviously, as a Spaniard.
In 2006, when Alonso won.
Oh wow!
I think it was his first home race.
And are you going to cruise down there to the pre-season testing as well too for the 2022 cars?
Nah.
If I win the DHL commentator award, I'll switch it over to you so you can go there and get that one. But anyway, you got to be happy that P2 at the end of the day, because I don't think there was too much you could do about Mark's like tires towards the end. But how do you feel? And would you like to say anything in Espanol to your local fans?
Nah, just thank you, gracias to all of people supporting real or virtually in the track.
Excellent. And going into the next race, you think you can bring the same similar results you can do today, and perhaps get that top step?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope.
Excellent.
Yeah, Alex, I also have a question for you. Luca Wunsch have not took part in this race, but you finished on the podium in pretty much every race. How are you approaching the next race, thinking that you are in the championship battle?
Well, same as the race before. Just doing my best and trying to constantly finish in P2, P3. I know it's going to be hard fighting with Mark and with Luca. So yeah, keep improving with this car. Keep knowing where to touch the setup, or to maybe do some tweaks, and try my best.
Okay. And say it, Alex. Say it. Finish it up with a smooth. Go on. You know what?
I'm going to save it when I win.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, cool. I like that. Yeah. Sorry to stereotype you, of course, to your fellow Spaniard F1 driver, but hey, they need to be looking over their shoulders, my friend, because you'll be replacing them. And Fernando Alonso, you're a legend, but Alex is the new champion, the new rookie in town. Well, not rookie now. Anyway, great job, Alex. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So we still want that P3 driver in there, but apparently he's unavailable to even find on the planet. The Radstar. We can't find the Radstar, can we? No. Well, I guess, Mark, you've had a bit of a cool down there. I was sitting on turn 11, where a lot of the you did an overtake as well too on turn 11. A couple of great overtakes, obviously turn 11 and turn 1. So I had the Dutch Army there. I had the orange flare out there. Congratulations, mate. How does that race win feel?
Yeah, it was a good race. Started from the back again, just to have a bit of fun, and I had a good launch. And from there on, it was just pushing, making sure I can follow the guys on the red tire with my yellows. Was doing the same pace, and making sure I can I go really fast on the reds.
You did really fast on the reds, my friend. Now there was a little bit of a debate between Edward and myself there, because we're kind of like trying to do the Toto Wolff and Christian Horner strategy as to when to box. What was going through your mind? Because you obviously, your pace was brilliant on those mediums towards the end. You were practically lapping, if not quicker than most of the drivers, or even pace there on. I think you got up to, can't really remember, but deep into that race, of course, starting on those mediums. What was there a crucial point where you're deciding? Because I did notice that the man in P3 that unfortunately isn't with us started setting purples. Did you get any of that information from your team, and as to when you need to start covering them off? Or was that what? Do you know it was a 20-odd second pit stop to get back out ahead?
No, I was just doing my own pace, making sure I keep the tires a bit cool, but Yeah, just pushing as hard as I can I was thinking in the race, when shall I pit? 9 laps, 8 laps, maybe 10 laps, but yeah. After 9 laps, I thought I go in, and when I cannot go over the red, I will give everything, push as fast as I can. I didn't think I would get that close to the leader. I think I came out 6 seconds on Alex when I came out of the pit. I even made a mistake in the pit stop because my pit crew was after the safety car, so I couldn't see my pit crew. So I braked, and then I saw, oh wait, there are 2 cars after that. So I made it. I think I lost 1 second there, but yeah. I was quite aggressive on P3 with that red tire. It was quite an aggressive overtake, but after that it was just yeah, it was quite easy.
It was massively aggressive because the Spaniards went that was to see, you're flying. But it was entertaining for us, obviously, here at Anti-Store Racing, everybody tuning in, because we knew you're going to start slicing through the field because tires are absolutely key. You were just driving your way around. Drivers were trying to defend themselves, but you're like, hey, I can just outbrake myself a little bit there. At what point do you think before that you could win this race?
After the pit stop, because I didn't know how fast the guys were on the yellows. I didn't practice quite a lot because I have 3 leaks this week. So in the race, I got faster. The first lap on the reds, I made quite a few mistakes, but after I got a feeling, I could push really hard. And after 1 lap on the reds, I thought, yeah, maybe I can win. I started closing the gap really fast, and yeah, I could manage my ERS system, make sure my battery loads, and then on the straights, just drain it all the way. So passing was quite easy. It looks quite easy track, but it's really difficult to get the hang of it, especially the last corner.
We were saying, wasn't it, turn 11 and turn 1, Elf and Lakaxa were the crucial overtaking places. Everywhere else is really much, obviously, depending on tires, was risk it for the biscuit. But you did it at the right point. You allowed enough space, and it was good, fantastic, clean racing. And, obviously, thank you very much Alex there for the shout out in the YouTube world. And there was a point, but right towards I think it was not the penultimate lap, but maybe the lap before, you dropped a bit of time after you got the overtake done on Alex. What happened there?
I drained my battery. I just want to get the overtake done and leave a bit of battery in the system. So in the corners, I made sure my battery was loading, but then on the straights I was draining it. But I had to, load the battery a bit more in the lap after that, because I wanted to pass them as fast as I can. So I used my battery the whole lap before that, so I could close that gap in 1 lap. So I knew I could defend, so I didn't think it was a problem.
Strategy, and you ended up finishing the race by 3 and change as well too on Alex. So yeah, you were unstoppable towards the end. Well, I mean, we did see almost a generation of a German driver. Obviously, Michael Schumacher dominate F1. Am I seeing a trend now of the Dutch army now? Obviously, with Max Verstappen wrapping up the F1 championship, and now yourself there dominating this race completely in Spain. Yeah, do I have to basically hang a Dutch flag for Formula One for a few years now? It's a new trend, it seems, doesn't it? And obviously, championships up for grabs. So, do you think you can bring this one home and once again parade yourself through the streets of Amsterdam, saying the Dutch are the best in F1?
Yeah, I missed the first few races because I heard about this league later. So it's a shame I missed the first 2, because I start from the back because I don't want to medal into the championship. But now, because I'm quite getting positions, maybe I will start in front next time. So I will see. I feel quite good in the Formula One car. Got my 5K I rating with it. So it suits me.
And can we put a heart rate on you next time and show that on the stream? So I want to feel what your heart rate monitor will be. And how did it feel when you crossed that line practically from last to first? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, the start is really tricky. I don't know if you can still see it, but it was quite hectic. And after that, it just my heart rate is pretty normal. But thinking I could win. It went a bit up again, and then overtaking Alex, it's just focus. It's not that impressive to see my heart rate at that moment. It's more the start. That's quite tricky with the F1 car.
Very Dutch, very calm, very relaxed. I mean, you need a heart rate monitor on the Finnish drivers because they have 1 beat per minute. But yeah. But obviously, we've got you guys. Please ask Mark a question because the man's on the top step at the moment, just soaked in champagne.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I've got one here. So next, are going.
You have one job.
Imola.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Imola.
We're going to Imola next week. The name just completely escaped me for a split second. I was like, oh my god, what is it? Yeah, Imola. How do you feel about Imola? Are you going to be joining us there?
Yeah, of course. I would join, I think, every race now. Imola I really like Imola because I really think it's a really cool track, but I never been really fast there. So I haven't driven there with an F1 car, also not with an F3 car. So I only raced GT3 there. So yeah, I have really no clue if I'm fast there. I really like the track, but also really tricky with the curbs and the corners. So yeah, we will see.
Well, Mark, you could drive one of those tractors that pick up the Formula One cars probably around the track and still do a brilliant job. So I wouldn't be surprised. How much practice you put into Spain today?
I trained an hour before the practice of the session, and I think I did a half an hour last Sunday, just to get the feeling.
And you went quick during the practice sessions, all the qualifying as well today, which
yeah, I found it really easy to get a normal lap in, but to find that extra pace, those extra tenths, that was really hard. I only practiced on the yellow, so it was the first time I drove on red when I pitted.
Okay, Mark, you were sandbagging. Just tell us.
No, I was pushing all race. Pushing all race.
How do you were doing consistent laps quicker than everybody else on softs when you're on the medium tires, and you were saying that you didn't put any. Okay, all right, fine. Okay, Mercedes. I mean,
no. Yeah, they really. Yeah, I drive a Mercedes here, so no. It's still quite tricky because I didn't practice a whole stint, so I didn't knew how the tires would hold. Turn 3 is really fast. I let just go a bit of gas every corner because I didn't want the Formula One car to snap. So I was pushing on the race, but yeah, within limits.
I was going to say now the teams are going to be analyzing your race and looking how they can improve for the next one, because obviously that has paid off brilliantly. So I think we'll let you go and celebrate with the Grandstand 5 full of the Dutch army, and because they're going absolutely ballistic. Anything you'd like to say in Dutch to your fans out there and let everybody know, how it feels to win from practically last to first in Spain?
If I say something, would you understand it?
No, but I can use a translator. Go ahead, doesn't matter.
Bedankt voor de host. That's it. I said thanks for the host.
That was short. No, in Dutch. Come on.
It wasn't Dutch. It wasn't Dutch. Bedankt voor de host.
Bedankt voor de host.
En tot de volgende keer.
All right.
Yeah. Till next time.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good to see you. We'll be seeing you again, obviously, in Pineapple on Your Pizza in Italy. So, yeah, good on you. Edward and Geza, that's been putting together the fantastic broadcasting that we had this evening here. I'm really excited, guys. I know there's not a lot of people watching right now, but they'll watch it back, of course, the drivers. So how's this going to span over into the series? And how many more races do we have to go in the calendar?
That calendar's long. Oh, yeah.
Do we have a standings at all or something to perhaps go through there? I'm obviously calculating it from this round. I don't want to throw too much on you because I know you just finished work and had to organize all this brilliant production. Like, you're probably sitting in traffic going, geez, I got to get there in like 10 minutes and get this all hooked up. Yeah, well, Martin Brundle and David Croft have it all ready for them.
Ed,
Yeah, Ed's pretty sharp on that one, as well as he's really good at pronouncing all these brilliant drivers' names.
Yeah, I don't actually have them. I don't think they are anywhere on our Discord.
okay,
we
well,
can- yeah.
check them out on the website, and they'll be updated this week for anybody who does want to go and see those standings. They'll be right on the website. And anybody who wants to come join us as well, feel free to drop it in Discord.
It's posted up there as well, too, on the YouTube channel. It says discord.antistalkracing.com, of course. And if you just remove the Discord, you get antistalkracing.com and get the links to all the other information that's on there. I was checking the website out before there. It's got the information there about the different racing leagues, this brilliant racing league. And once again, it is a brilliant racing league because, Geza, Gerald, you do so much fantastic work, of course, mate. And, we wouldn't be here without you. Of course, Ed, mate, you are just a king of commentating, of course, and I love commentating with you as well. And yeah, I'm glad to have you because you can pronounce those names brilliantly. What a race, isn't it? It has been exciting. There was gaps, of course, that formed. The carnage in the first couple of turns that occurred. But I've learned a lot about iRacing, and I've learned a lot about these Mercedes-powered F1 cars.
Yeah, well, over this next season, you're probably going to become an iRacing pro by the end of it. So yeah, thank you for doing this one as well. Fantastic as always. Always fantastic to commentate with you. But I think we should be wrapping up now. So I just want to say a massive thank you to all our viewers, to all our racers, and to everybody that makes this happen as well. Our race control and our admins. And also,
by the way, could you just a quick shout out there to the stewarding team as well that was behind
absolutely, yeah. George, thank you very much for being Mr. Massey today, and thank you for not calling any controversies during the race. But yeah, thank you guys, you're absolutely fantastic, and thank you, Elias, for not having to drive the safety car. Other than that, guys, we'll definitely next time being Friday, where we have our usual rookies. And then on the Sunday with more Rookies series and back again. W12. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you.